My name is Gidon Bromberg. I'm the Israeli co-director of EcoPeace Middle East. We're a really unique organization, 30 years old, Palestinian, Jordanian, Israeli together. As our name suggests, we're an organization that's focusing on our shared environment, water, the climate crisis, and how we need to work together in order to protect this land that we all claim to love, but through the conflict, if we don't resolve our issues, there's going to be no land to love. Following the horrors of these last 2 years, we indeed find ourselves in a moment that could really be a breakthrough, that can really be transformative. And at EcoPeace, we've been preparing for this moment for the last 2 years. And we see the opportunity for regional integration, much like the period after the Second World War, where France and Germany have to make a decision. Are they going to go separate ways, or are they going to integrate? And they reach an agreement under international pressure, under the pressure of the United States, to reach an agreement on coal and steel. And the coal and steel arrangement, which is at that time the most important two natural resources of the European continent, become the engine that builds healthy interdependencies between Germans and French, and broadened to the region as a whole. Well, we know that the natural resource issues of most pertinence at this time, in the midst of a climate crisis in the Middle East, is harnessing the sun for renewables and harnessing the sea to produce much needed water. And it's around those two issues that we can really build integration. And we have a moment where the public are going to have to decide whether they're going to take the Sparker direction of isolation and everyone going unilateral, or will they take the opportunity to integrate Israelis and Palestinians and Jordanians at the heart of that integration, because our environment knows no borders. We can use economic models that are already presented to us, that have been presented before the 7th of October and the horrific 2 years of war. And that's the India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor. That corridor presents the opportunity to see major integration that would see railways moving goods from India to the Gulf and through to Europe. But at EcoPeace, we're absolutely determined to make sure that these economic activities help advance the two-state solution, are utilized to rebuild Gaza and possibly also Syria and Lebanon. And therefore, when the IMEC story is told and it's only about a railway to Haifa, we say, no, that's not good enough. We need to also see a railway to Gaza, and in that way turn Gaza port into a Gulf port on the Mediterranean, as envisioned for Haifa, and possibly also through Syria and Lebanon, so that Beirut has an engine and Syria has an engine for its rebuilding. And in that way, we transform our region, not only from an environmental and an economic perspective, but we really, like the coal and steel arrangement of Europe after the Second World War, we transform political and security interests. Because if we're all dependent on an economic integration that benefits us all, then Saudis and other Gulf states and Europe will be as committed and as important for their national interests that the radicals on both sides are held at bay, that the infrastructure is protected along its whole journey. Otherwise, we all lose. So that the economy has the potential to help us move forward, not just for economic prosperity, but for political prosperity in advancing the state of Palestine next to the state of Israel and integrated both Israel and Palestine together as part of our region.